All right, welcome everyone. We are back finally over our
Been a while. Extended
extended
holiday.
extended holiday break. We got on the same page. This is the Artificery Star Wars Unlimited podcast, episode 8. As usual, I am your host, Nick, aka the Gandork, and today I'm joined only by the other Nick, aka Taxter. Garrett wasn't feeling well today, so he's not showing up. But he should be back next week or next time that we record. How you doing, Nick? How's it going?
Doing good. Getting
Um,
excited. Getting close to release.
I know the clock is ticking. We only
A
have
little bit more than a month.
we have the guy on the community Discord that posts the same Porg GIF every day and counts down. So that's how we know. But we're down to like 30 something days. So it's on the horizon. We are almost
At
there.
least for me, the pre-release is kind of where I count as it as being out because I'll actually have cards in hand that day, even
Oh
if it's
yeah.
not official.
Yeah, we'll know all the cards by then. They've said we'll have cards in hand that day. So, yeah, for all intents and purposes, particularly if you're in an area that you can go to more than one pre-release, you'll have a collection in that first week.
I'm just excited to see if anybody opens a showcase for pre-release. That would be really cool to see because I don't think we're going to see many more of those before actual release.
Yeah, and I think it'll be really rare if someone actually sees it in a pre-release, just because of how rare they are.
Yeah,
Like,
I is a pre. Yeah, no, it's not going to. I mean, with only 6 packs per person.
yeah, every four participants is a box, and it's 1 in 12 boxes. So
Right.
maybe I don't know if anywhere is going to have that like enough participants to get one, but someone's going to be lucky enough to pull one. We'll see.
Yeah, I assume that it'll exist somewhere, just not likely my store.
Yeah, not likely me. Not even my store, just not me. I'll probably
Oh,
see
definitely
everyone.
not me.
Yeah.
I don't even think I'm going to get one in my 50-50 chance with what I pre-ordered.
Case. Yeah. Yeah. So like, other than that, Star Wars Unlimited wise, we've both been playing. What have you been doing? I don't know, past week or two. Talk about, like, I think you did a draft. You said, how was that?
Yeah, I did a draft. Um, it was fun. I think I ended up 1-2 though because uh, I got devastated in the draft. That was a pick that came back to haunt me because I was playing green yellow Tarkin and I could have picked the Devastator. And I'm trying to remember what I picked above it, in front of it. Like there was something that was like better on curve, but like man, that bomb just like destroyed me.
Yeah, I feel like
Um,
Devastator's like right on that cusp of like, will the game go long enough for me to play this? That I could see
right.
passing it up. Like, if there's anything like reasonable or good and like any cost that's going to see play every game.
No, my favorite part of the draft was I ended up with 3 gladiators, and that was kind of like my finisher was just like slam 3 gladiators down in space. Oh, I had 3 gladiators and 2 prepare for takeoff. So
Nice.
by the end game, I was ready to just grab them and slam them. And Tarkin was going to make
What
them
was
a
the
little
leader? You
stronger.
were Tarkin,
Tarkin, yeah,
and what base
Tarkin
color?
yellow.
Yellow. Oh yeah.
Yeah, chopper base.
Yeah, I did a draft on Sunday. We had a daytime draft that like fired off with the drafty boys, as they call themselves. And yeah, oddly enough, I drafted Tarkin except red. And yeah, I think I had like two or three gladiators too, and a couple interceptors. Like, the best part of my deck, it was really space heavy. Um, but we only managed to
Yeah,
get
I had a
through
lot of
2
space
rounds.
too.
Yeah, so I didn't get to see. I was 1-1. I lost to Wu, who had a Sabine yellow deck that was just like insane. Like, I think he had like 3 or 4 fighters for freedom, and
Oh goodness!
I
Wow.
know, and it was, the fighters for freedom were a problem because I had like a lot of sentinels, but like it just didn't matter. Like, I
Yeah,
couldn't
like I
stop.
didn't have anything. I was losing on the ground game because like I had like Imperials that were like the 2-drop Imperials, but I didn't really have like a good like 3-4 body or something that could really like stand toe to toe with the good 3 drops, or even against the green hero with the 3-3 for 2 guy. Like
Yeah,
that was even a struggle.
Yeah, but yeah, like the Fighters for Freedom even countered, like I said, I had the Gladiators too. It's like I could make my Tarkin that's a Sentinel, which is usually a solid play, but doesn't matter if there's Saboteur on the other side.
Yeah.
I still only like I went 2-1, and I had a feeling like I could have won that match, but I drafted Tarkentown as the red base, and I tried running it like in my first game versus Sabine, and it was a mistake. Like I ended up like there
Yeah.
was he drafted a really good aggro curve, so like there was no point where like any of his units were really damaged that I could use Tarkentown on. So like the first game, like I almost stabilized, but like died to like no board Sabine action, after I defeated her to ping me. And it was like, I never got to use Tarkentown. If I had 5 more health, maybe I'd pull that win off. But yeah, I switched to the regular base for the second game, kind of just crushed him like out that game. And then last game with tempo, he just rushed me out and was what it was. I was close to breaking the last game, but like I think it literally came down to the only card that could save him was having a Fighters for Freedom with Saboteur to like stop all of my Sentinel answers, and he just happened to have it. Yeah, and then the only other game I played was against McBobber, and he tried Chewy Green, and he managed to steal a game from me, but the first and third game I just crushed him. Like they weren't even close. Chewy's rough.
Yeah, I don't entirely know why Chewie feels so rough. Like I feel like on paper when I see his ability and then like I see his body and I was like I feel like this guy should be good, but then it just doesn't pan out. I haven't played in draft yet, but
Yeah, and I think in draft the biggest issue is just having the 7 resource threshold. Like it takes so long for your leader to be relevant, and meanwhile, like Tarkin's flipping out with 5 resources, and like he's doing stuff a full, 2 rounds or maybe even 3 impactful attacks before you even get Chewie on the board. Makes it really rough. I don't know what you'd need with Chewie to really turn that around, but he didn't have it. Like didn't work out for him. Um, yeah. Do you remember anything else about any other draft games you want to share? Just like your overall feelings about how draft
um
for your first time.
what I played against two Idens and a Jin.
Two, two Idens.
Two Idens and a Jin. The
She's the
Idens was
rare.
pretty awful to deal with because I just couldn't. I did not have a good enough ground presence to like deal with Iden. One card I really did like with that was the I don't remember the name of it. It's the green 5 cost leader synergy card that gives a +2/+2.
Yeah, it's
So it's
actually not
basically
bad.
like you play that and you have Tarkin out, and it's like, well, this thing's gonna be a 7/7 and kill pretty much whatever your leader is, and that feels kind of cool. Like, I mean, obviously not Iden with the shield, but like that one shot's Jin, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and it has Overwhelm itself, which is actually pretty relevant.
Yeah,
That's not a bad card for draft at all. Yeah, like I said, the +2/+2 can go on itself, so it can make itself a 7/7 Overwhelm for 5. That
yeah,
seems fine. Downside is not an Imperial, so you can't XP it, but it's still pretty
no,
solid. Yeah, that's funny. You played 2 Idens. Like she's the rare leader. I don't think that should happen in real life.
yeah.
Um,
I think like pack distribution. I think and what people have done online has not been likely what we're gonna see. Just because like not only that, but one person opened up 3 Chewies as their 3 liter in their packs, and I was like, I don't even know.
Theoretically
I
possible,
like,
from what
is
I
it theoretically possible, or like, is the box distribution actually going to be in a way such that you shouldn't have like? I actually have no idea how cards are printed. Like, that's such a huge like
yeah.
question, and like, for me is like, yeah, the rarity distributions, this and stuff, but actually, like, over the course of a box or over the course of a whole case, like, what is the actual distribution of these things?
Yeah,
Actually, do we even know what the chances of a rare leader are? Are they like 1 in 6?
it's secretly 1 in 6. Yeah. So we haven't like had official confirmation, but it should be 1 in 6. I don't know why they haven't confirmed it. But yeah, like you shouldn't see duplicate rare leaders. It is technically possible you'll have three common leaders. You will have three common leaders of at least half of them. Like just how it ends up. Like you end up with 20 common leaders in a box, and of those
There's only 8 of them.
yeah, and there's only A's, so you're gonna get two, at least two of each, and then four of the eight will have three. So it is
Yeah.
theoretically possible that in a real life draft you open three Chewies. It's highly unlikely that you're the one that gets stuck with all three Chewies, but like
Yeah.
it could happen. I don't think it really like screws you to open up all three Chewies because yeah, you don't get a first choice, but like your second and third choices aren't going to be Chewies. Like at that point, like they just can't mathematically be more Chewies. So you'll have three leaders regardless that are different. Um, but it does suck a little bit to lose the agency on your first pick, I guess. Um,
I mean, it also actually sucks to be. I actually think the one that drafted, I think there was another Chewie. I think there was even 4 Chewies in
okay,
that
so yeah,
thing. So like, so someone had to see Chewie twice, essentially. You know, it's like, well, that sucks.
yeah, that's the problem that with that. From his, I think it's his dudeness's mod has the pack
Yeah,
generator, but his pack generator like isn't doing hardly any curating. It's just like purely random, and random is random. But like
yeah,
printing isn't random. Like the way that they will
exactly.
seed leaders in a pack will be such that the leader distribution will be fairly even because they're not gonna like they're going to print the leaders out in roughly sequence, maybe mix them up in the sequence and then insert them in the packs, but like a box is going
Yeah,
to have even distribution because draft would suck if it didn't, so that's why they would have it set up that way.
yeah.
But if you're
So I
doing
do expect that to be quite different with actual draft.
yeah, which I have a draft pack generator that I made in TTS, and I make them packs sometimes that they like to use. But like when I make my packs, like I do a little bit of manual, curating to make sure that like there's no like the leader distribution is even, like just because that'll ruin a draft quicker than anything. So
Yeah,
um and I do some other stuff with my packs where I like make sure that like you don't accidentally have the same rare like a bunch of times or like too many legendaries. Like problem with a pure random generator is random is random. Like it's just as likely you will have a box that has like 10 legendaries, even though that will like
well,
never
and the
happen
color
in real life.
distribution could be terrible too.
True.
In a way it's way worse than what you might expect out of an actual.
Yeah, my formula actually takes care of that too, because I think it was confirmed by Danny or someone in one of the streams that they do make sure that each color gets at least one card in the common slot,
Right? Yeah, I think
or in each
that sounds
aspect of the
familiar.
board.
Which is
So
just like that feels good. It's just like, yeah, you're obviously designing all of this with draft in mind.
yeah, it's designed with draft in mind. So yeah, like my pack generator makes sure like I separate all of the commons into bags by color, and you get at least one pick from each bag in each pack. So like you don't get any heavily skewed packs, like which helps because like a draft would be bad if you had a run of packs that for whatever reason had like no red hero, like but somebody's going to be stuck with the red hero leader, so it doesn't work. Like I don't know, but yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with my draft. I hope to get to do it again if they draft it, more reasonable times. Hint, hint. If any of those guys listen. um, moving on from that, we've missed a few streams. We did. They did have the actual draft stream where they drafted on stream, and we got like a bunch of spoilers
Yeah, that
from
was
that.
really cool too to watch. Like even though it was just like the last pack, but like just like watching them sit, like the actual like camaraderie of like drafting around the table was just cool to see in action.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite streams. Like you said, mostly just from the back and forth or just the I don't know what you call it this the interactions. They were way more casual with it. Just like it was watching a bunch of guys play games, and
And
I
the
think I
underdogs won.
yeah go Josh. I picked Josh to play. I was like he could do it, and yeah, he beat Danny
Yeah, I
down.
did too.
And he didn't even get to play like two of his best cards apparently, and we found out one of them was Bendu this week.
Oh, that's the one that he
Yeah,
couldn't play.
yeah, they wouldn't
Okay.
let him play Bendu. That was one of his pulls because he actually drafted a mostly blue deck, and I think he was going to play mono blue. And I don't know if it
Gotcha.
ever got confirmed, but I was like, I think his leader might have been Chirrut, which he couldn't.
Oh, okay, that would make sense too,
I
because
didn't
it
get that one
definitely was.
confirmed.
We definitely got that. Like there was a leader he wasn't allowed to show, and then there was a double aspect card. Like I think that was pretty. I think that's what he. It was pretty well known. That's what he was trying to do, and it's like,
Yeah, I don't know. It could have been the Chirrut, or he could have pulled the Showcase Chewy. I didn't confirm either way.
oh shoot,
That's things he could have not shown. But like, I think Xander did jump in the chat and was like, "Yeah, Bendu is one of the cards that he drafted but couldn't play and show."
that's cool.
But yeah, so he ended up playing like the Sabine deck is what he played on stream, but his deck was like 90% blue. Like he had
Blue, yeah,
drafted double
because he
blue.
drafted for mono blue. Yeah,
Um, or it could have been Protector. I don't remember what his other cards were, but yeah, he beat Danny down, who started with excuse me, started with Han, and he played all of his cards in the first like round. Turns out not a great strategy to top deck the whole game. Did not work out for him. And then let's see, the other stream we had was the website stream. So like they've implemented most of, well, they're calling it a beta, but they put in a bunch of features on the website. So now you can go on there. They've got like whole learn to play menus. They've got like the start of like an event and lookup page, and they actually have a card database and deck builder. Did you get a chance to mess around with any of it? What are your thoughts on their website stuff?
I saw the deck builder. Um, it's got a ways to go. I mean, it's functional and like I'm really the stuff that I'm most curious to see is the stuff that's not there yet, and the stuff that like isn't probably not going to be for a bit. Like how this actually interacts with like tournament play. Like I want to see more of the like the tournament stuff and like the leaderboards and how that's going to work, and then like how you can like maybe like import your decks or like basically. I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of way to be like, I'm going to just say this is my deck on the website, and then that'll be able to send it to a tournament coordinator, and then it works all with everything super
Yeah,
fun and magically. But we're not there yet. But like that's the more exciting stuff for me right now. It's like, yeah, it's a deck builder. It could use more filters and parameters to make things easier to build with than other options that are out there right now. But I'm sure it'll get there.
yeah. I actually took the time and like made a list of things that the deck builder needs and sent it to their help email that's on one of those screens. They actually responded. I was surprised. There was like some, I don't remember who it was, but there was like some lady from like marketing, or maybe it was like customer service for FFG, like responded like, thanks for the list. So I thought that was cool. So some my email didn't just get filed in the round filing basket, trashed. Well, it might have, but at least they took the time to respond and be like, "Thanks for sending an email about like
And
some
the other
things."
thing I'm really looking forward to is the full rules reference. Like that's a thing that like we've been working on assumptions and other stuff that, and from word of mouth from what we hear from the designers and stuff more than hard concrete rules. So like that's really high up on my list of like just a simple link that's coming soon right now, that once that becomes enabled would be really nice to take a look at.
Yeah, they did confirm on the stream that we should get it before release. So
I hope so.
that's, yeah, hope so. I hope we have the full rules before release. But yeah, we should have it before too long. Same with tournament rules. Like we don't have those yet, and
I
there's
mean, I don't
supposed
expect that on release because there isn't a
to. Really?
tournament until, I mean, maybe. I mean,
Yeah,
and
I
I don't
mean
know if,
people.
okay, like maybe they'll have the stuff set up for like store showdown stuff, but like even like we don't have the what's it called, the planetaries, and still until
Yeah,
set
but I
two.
think like
So
people are going to be starting doing like weekly tournaments, and like if you're going to have a weekly premiere, which we found that out by the way, their standard format is called premiere. If you have
oh
a
right,
premiere,
right, yeah, yeah,
yeah, we didn't know that before, but yeah, if you have a premiere tournament every week, you're probably going to want to know like what's the round time, like best 2 out of 3 sideboard. Like we know there's a sideboard, but we don't actually have the sideboard rules and stuff like written out anywhere. Like I
yeah.
don't know.
Well, I guess there is like a tournament regulations link that
Yeah,
isn't online yet, right on that page too,
yep, it's
for
right there.
Premiere.
So I don't know, some good stuff to know, at least for the local level. Like people will want to start playing like they'll play for a store showdown or a planetary if they're going to do that. And like, I don't know, kind of pivoting off this, I have been in communication with my local store and they're going to carry it. And we've already talked about like what our local or weeknight's going to be. We're going to be doing it Friday nights at my store. Funny enough.
Yeah, take that magic.
Yeah, I'll take that. They're like, yeah, Friday Night Magic. They're like, it barely fires off. So you can come in on Friday. Like we have room. So we're going to take over Friday night. They want to run like weekly, probably tournament, draft, whatever. We'll see what the player base wants. Um, I also got picked. I'm going to be running a store or demo roadshow, whatever they call it,
Next
for
week.
Cascade Games. Yeah, on the 17th in my
Oh,
area.
okay, so a few weeks still.
So I still got 2 weeks for that. So yeah, excited to be running that. I don't even have my demo decks or anything yet. Like they're doing a thing where the first wave of demo decks have to like mail their demo decks to people in the second waves. So someone's gonna mail me
Yeah.
the demo decks for me to run my event.
We actually had them at my local store last weekend, so I went to that. That was fun. It was pretty much. I'm assuming it was the same decks as Gen Con. I don't entirely remember, but it relatively that. Just like a pared down starter decks. I think it was fun. It was just really cool to see basically the new face of the local community because we had like there were probably like 20 people there, and the 16-person event filled up and had a few people on the wait list even. So
yeah, that's pretty
it
good. I
was
think we've
good.
got 20 responses for mine already. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, the turnouts like I'm in like one of the Discord channels for Cascade, and like everyone's been like posting pictures, talking about their events. I feel like all of them are getting pretty decent turnouts. Like most of
Yeah,
them have been 20 plus people.
and like I know there's going to be at least two stores in my area that are supporting the game because one already has the one that I wasn't at. The one I was at this last weekend still doesn't have its pre-release stuff set up, but I know one of the other stores already sold out, and I didn't even know that because I've never been to that other store, and apparently they already sold out of their pre-release like 16 for that or whatever. So I don't know. They were going to see if they could get more. I think pre-release kits. I don't know if that's even a thing. If stores get more
Yeah,
than one.
from what I understand, they should be able to get more. Because I think they have until sometime in February until they consider it locked in. They got like another week or so. Um,
Gotcha.
but I think there was something about the pre-release kits where they're like making them buy them in groups of like 16 or something. So it's
Right.
not like
Yeah.
you can
Because
buy like
that's what it's supposed to be.
five.
It's like a kit.
Yeah,
So
you go from like 16 to 32 to 48. Like my store, they bought 32 for the pre-release. Like I know they have pre-ordered out
yeah,
of the gate, and we'll see if we hit that. Like the good news for the stores is I don't think they'll
there's
really
not
lose
really a
money.
downside because I think you still get a full box as well, like as like prize support, or I don't know how it's going to be. Like it's like you get 16 of the pre-release kits, which are the like 6-pack sealed
Yeah, and I think
kits,
the
and then you
pre-release,
get a box.
right. I think the box is like a separate like charge for the store, but like the pre-release kits aren't any more expensive than 6 packs. So I think you could realistically sell them to
Right.
players after like
Yeah,
if you
yeah, yeah.
have
That's the thing. It's
extras,
like it's not a
players will buy
problem.
them.
It's just yeah,
Yeah, you run your pre-release. If you got 48 and only 30 people show up to your pre-release, after you're done, you just go, "Hey, does anybody else want to buy the rest of these at 30 bucks a pop?" That's retail for 6 packs, and you'll probably sell all of them to people that just want the packs early. Like,
yeah.
I
So
don't think you
I
risk
yeah, I
losing.
don't think it's that risky at all.
Mm,
But I'm excited. The fact that there's two stores, I'm probably only going to be able to do one night a week, and I don't know where. I'm not sure where and when and what's going on with that yet. So probably figure out in the next month.
yeah, soon enough. And I think that was it. So, anything on else on the store, the new website? I think we pretty much covered it. I don't know if we talked about like you talked briefly about the tournament software, but they are going to have new standalone tournament software
Yeah.
for this game, and they have a name for it. It's like TEC Tech. It stands for something like Tournament Event Center or something like that. Um, but
What was the
supposedly
old one called?
it was oh god, I'm blanking. All I know is the old one was crap.
Yeah.
So the bar is really low.
I mean, I guess like the interesting part that was supposed to be takeaway from the new one is that they were going to support like offline so that it would work at conventions and stuff. Where it's like, yeah, you'd like check in once you do have a connection, but for the most part, it should be completely runnable offline.
Yeah, and if some of the information they posted about this tournament software is that like the stores will post their events through the tournament software, which will upload it to the site, and then like that's how they're going to track like tournament points and stuff when they get those things for like players. Sounds like
Do
you're
we
going
know if
to
they're
register and do
going
that
to
stuff.
take data from like locals? Like obviously not for tournament point stuff, but just for like gathering deck data. Like that's the other stuff. It's like, are we going to be putting in what decks people are playing,
Who knows?
even at
Maybe.
that level? Like, yeah,
Like we haven't
that's
seen the
going to be.
software other than we know it'll
I
tie
know
in somehow.
it's got to be soon.
Yeah, it's
Hopefully,
gonna.
maybe they may not have it for pre-release. We'll see.
Yep. But yeah, we should hopefully find that out soon, and hopefully it'll work. Yeah, and then moving on, I guess we have an upcoming stream next week where they're going to talk about the pre-release and the store showdown preview. We'll probably talk about that next week, but I don't know. That one's weird because we talked about it a little bit before, but like we already know most of this information, so I don't know what more they have to tell us about.
Right.
But that's the next stream on the schedule, and then we don't have anything for the month of February yet. Uh, Probably be coming soon. Um, all right, so we pretty much covered all the news. We might have missed something back in December. I don't even remember since the last time we did this. But we have 64 cards that have been spoiled since the last time we did a
I
podcast.
mean, some of them are bases.
Some of them are bases. There's at least
Some
like
of them are just bad.
some of them are kind of bad. No. Start it off. Do you what's a card you want to highlight? Just put you on the spot.
Vader. We didn't talk about Vader. That was Christmas Vader.
We did not talk about Vader.
Vader's
Uh,
cool.
Vader is really cool. So we had
He's
Luke.
not. I don't know that he feels better than Luke necessarily because Luke straight up kills something with. I mean, but the fact that he comes and grabs a dude. So I was playing some games earlier this week and with like Boba Green and slam down Vader, grab a TIE Defender, our spoiled card that's going to be in every Boba deck.
Hmm.
That card is so good, but just like man, it's like now I've just like fortified both lanes, killed a dude with my 5 damage ambush. Like, I mean, he's pretty good. I
Yeah,
still like Luke better just because I also like the restore and the instant kill from that, and while still having his full body. But
yeah. Luke
I mean,
works better across.
Vader's great, and I will play him in everything that you
Yeah, everything you can.
reasonably play him in.
Yeah, no. Luke works better across lanes, as I think in one of our test games where you killed I don't know how many Star Destroyers with Luke's ability. So that's one thing. Like Vader can't necessarily do. Like he's coming in to hit ground. If your opponent has a Star Destroyer, he's probably not helping. Like depending on what he can pull. He's got some interesting combos because you can do the when played before the ambush, so you can do stuff like,
Yeah,
"Oh hey, I found Veers and I play Veers, and now I'm ambushing with a 6/8," which is fun. Um,
Death
yeah,
Trooper ping off a shield or something like that.
yeah, Death Trooper is really good. Yeah, there's
There's
a
a
lot
lot
of really
of
good ones.
combos with when choosing the order of resolve. I feel like you probably generally want. I don't. I assume you probably want to pick your card first before the ambush, just to see what options you have at play.
I think that's usually the call. I don't. I've seen people ambush first, but I don't know why you wouldn't look at the card first. The only reason I could think of is like maybe you're going to grab the snow trooper that lets you attack with another imperial,
Yeah, and then slam that in.
and you like want to clear out like a sentinel first, and then like slam
Yeah,
in the other one. But like so hard when you don't even know what you'll grab. Like
yeah.
if it'll even make sense for that. Along those lines, we're going to talk about Vader. My other card I want to highlight is For a Cause I Believe In. That wasn't spoiled the last time that we podcasted.
Oh, that wasn't. Oh
It
gosh,
was not. I'm sure this is your least
when did
favorite
that
card
come?
in set
I
one.
mean that. Yeah, I mean, that's the straight up burn damage from hand. I'm not a fan of that, but
Yeah, it's I've said it's I've had people contest this, but I think it's one of the best reach cards I've seen in almost any game. And like people point like, oh, Magic's had like 3 for 4 damage, and but like even some of the Magic examples, they didn't let you dig for more burn, and
right, the
that's
fact
when
that it
it's
also
over the
like
top.
yeah.
Yeah, like you
I
might
mean,
pay 2 to do 4 to base, but like paying 3 to do 4 to base if you build your deck right. There's obviously a deck building restriction there.
I don't mind if they play that when I already have like 15 health left still and they're playing that instead of a 3 drop. I think that's fine, but like once you're already within like
10-ish,
6 or 7 health, less than
6 to
10 of
7.
dying, like this is just scary. It's just scary, and then the fact that you're going to see another one sooner than later, and
Yeah.
ugh.
I mean, the deck restriction, like people have been debating on like how, how many non-white cards can you play? Because obviously you want some. Like surprise strike, like if you're going to be in yellow, surprise strike, you still play because
Yeah,
like even if you miss with for a cause, you leave it on the top and then like you're still probably
exactly.
netting more damage. But like there's
Yeah,
other things that like people want to play like Benthic, which is a new card that we've seen. The Partisan Insurgent, which I think did we see that before or after?
I
Anyway,
don't remember.
I think we had already seen Partisan Insurgent a while ago. Looking through the spoilers, but yeah, like that's Benthic's buddy. So like a red deck can have a really aggressive start with like Benthic and the Partisan Insurgent, and they kind of feed off each other. But like they're both not heroes, so like if you play both of those, you're making your four cause worse. So yeah, there's a little debate on like how many like non-hero cards can you play. I don't know. Most of my decks, I go pretty heavy hero and maybe play the surprise strike, maybe play like a waylay in yellow, just
Yeah.
because you need like something that like if they drop a big sentinel, I need to get it out of the way. Need to have an out. So I don't know. That's that card. Back to you. What's another card you want to talk about?
Oh, horse throw. Horse throw's huge.
Force Throw is good.
One cost red that you probably don't play if you don't actually have a force guy out, but like it's super cheap removal, and I like certainly better with a force leader. I think now that we have Chirrut out, uh, that works really well with him being the fastest force leader out on 5. Like he enables a lot of just good stuff, and he's hard to take down. Like I mean, literally, unless you're using takedown on him, he's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with.
He's hard to take down. Literally take down.
No, no, takedown's the only thing that you can take him down with. Everything else, it
He's
doesn't
hard to take
work.
down, except for if you take him down, and then he's just down. That's funny. Yeah, Force is really. I've seen a lot of people playing. Like, I wasn't necessarily a huge believer in it, but I've seen it do work. Like sometimes it just lines up where you throw your redemption and you one shot Vader. I've seen that happen, and it feels
Yeah, I mean
right.
that's the top end of it, and you don't need the top end of it for it to be good. Like I don't know, like it's pretty strong against Boba, who's also like one of the better decks right now because when Boba has its big turn, they're likely not going to have a lot of gas, and if you can catch them where like all they have left is their fire spray, and you're like, boom, gotcha. Like I don't know, like there's just a lot of good plays where you can kind of choke people out of resource. Like it does a little bit of the card choke from hand and the control aspect.
Yeah. How often do you use Force Throw to pitch your own card?
I mean, I think that's like desperation because obviously, like
It
if
is
you're
a two
using
for
it
one
after you
yourself.
have what?
Yeah, it is a 2 for 1 yourself,
Yeah,
but you potentially are removing a unit for 1 resource, so
I
it's
mean, yeah, it's a
very
good
value heavy.
it's good flexibility to have, but like it's more like, oh, I have 2 Lukes in my hand, so I'm gonna throw one of them because that makes sense, guaranteed damage.
I mean, that's a bigger
But like
play.
I don't want to get rid of my Luke the turn I'm gonna before I'm gonna play the Luke just to play this unless I'm gonna die otherwise because Luke's
Right.
gonna do more when he comes out anyways.
Yeah, I think in the games that I've played and seen it play, that's usually the bigger impact that I've seen it is when people have pitched their own cards to like take out a leader or some other big effect. I think if you're taking out a leader, it's probably worth the 2-for-1 on yourself most of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Other things more debatable, I think, at this point. But yeah, I don't know. Like it's that whole like what's in this game, card advantage feels less important because you draw 2 cards a turn, and resource advantage can be really important. So paying 1 and pitching 2 cards to like kill something big might be worth it. And I've actually seen some people skew playing more expensive things in their deck just because they figure they're
Or
gonna
it.
throw one with force throw. Like I was working on a Chirrut deck, and I was like, yeah, my top end it was Chirrut red, and I was like, my top end Mace Windu.
Mace and
And then
Luke.
I'm like, but if I throw some, let's just throw Mace and Luke in there, and maybe I should have a couple redemptions. Like,
Oh yeah, definitely Redemption.
yeah, like if I'm gonna,
Redemption's also very good.
I don't know
At
if
least
you
I
need
think it feels good.
9 7+ cost things, but if you're gonna force throw one, maybe you want that many. I don't know.
Is Redemption a legendary too?
Redemption is only a rare.
Oh, okay.
I guess back to me, another really cool card that we've seen. Power of the
Uh,
Dark Side.
oh, not
That's
IG88.
no, not IG88. We did officially get IG88 spoiled because yeah, even though we'd known about him for 2 months, he
Yo,
finally had
Power of the
his
Dark
run.
Side is actually super awesome too.
Yeah, Power of the Dark Side has not gotten the hype I feel like it deserves because I feel like this is one of the best cards in the set, and I feel like it got a really meh reaction. And I think
I
it's
mean,
because
this
like
is yeah,
yeah, I think
so
people
good
in
for control.
general, blue villain in general has kind of just been meh. Like everybody's on the Boba train, so they're like, "What the hell am I doing with this blue villain card?"
You don't play
Um,
Blue Boba. Come on.
blue Boba, but Power of the Dark Side is like the one of the like it's the really best control card in the game.
Oh
People
yeah,
are like,
it
"Oh,
does
your opponent,"
exactly what you want. Like
yeah,
you're already going to be trading to get control of the board. So ideally, they shouldn't have more than like a thing out there. So if you're doing even remotely what you want to do, this is just a lock in guaranteed kill something for 3 right
yeah,
then and there.
yeah, and that's essentially my point. Like if you're playing heavy control, like you should be keeping the board with relatively few units. There's generally a lot of opportunities where this is killing something you want for 3 resources. And then people are like, "Oh, well, what if they're playing aggro?" It's fine against aggro too. Like a lot of the times I'm not like if I pay 3 and they have to defeat something in aggro, that's okay. Like you maybe a resource or 2 behind, but you're generally not that far behind.
I
Like
mean,
it's
if I'm playing blue villain into hero aggro, I'm going to be struggling to take out like your A wings without this card. So like it's like that open fire. Like there's not a lot of great ways to take out the A wing.
yeah, and I would
Get
almost
Inferno
like
4 into
100% in that matchup. Like if I had initiative and like I played a unit, they played an A-wing, and then like I get initiative going into round 3, I will
you
play the
slam it.
Power of the Dark Side and
Yeah,
slam
yeah,
it to
yeah.
kill your A-wing
Oh,
and not feel
absolutely.
bad all day.
No, no,
Like that's
killing their round 1 play before you get attacked with it seems like a completely perfect use of this card. It does not have to be killing their 7 drops.
no,
I mean, it is cool that it can kill a leader and Avenger can't. And I don't know why Avenger can't because by the time you have an Avenger out, you shouldn't have leaders out still anymore, most likely. But
yeah, I don't know, but I know I like this card. Um, Next
and
up,
it's got sweet art.
it's got
Vader choking a
art.
dude.
Give me the hyperspace version. All right, your turn. Pick a card. Any card.
Um, where's that one? Oh yeah, Traitorous. I like Traitorous because I played it with you the other week, and I got to do it like 3 times in a game. I don't know if it's gonna make every deck, but it's fun. It's a good like 2 card swing
Yeah, I like
generally.
Traitorous. I like it as like an anti-upgrade, like opponent upgrade card. I think
Yeah.
more than
I mean, the big
anything.
thing is I don't know how much upgrade hate's going to be played. Like, there's a lot of things that are going to feel rough playing into upgrades, like Jedi lightsabers and Traitorous. But in a world where that's not super popular, Traitorous seems really good.
Yeah, really punishes stuff like wing leaders. Like if they want a wing leader something, you're like, yeah, I'll take your big Sabine or whatever. Like, it's fine. Um, yeah, it can be a blowout. Like, also, in like, I feel like Callus like is in the same spot, but Callus has been feeling weaker and weaker with his 4 attack
Yep.
and
The
traitor.
more we get, the 4-4ness of him is just kind of feeling slowly worse and worse. You're like, man, I can attack him, I can draw a card, but I don't really feel bad slamming him in and losing everything here versus being able to take one of their dudes and keep it and
Yep.
seem very strong. You're
That's
preventing damage and getting a body still.
Yep. Next card I want to point out was my favorite card. The Force is with me. This card, like,
That's the new one, the
it's
really new
new.
one.
It just came out this week. And it's very similar to Power of the Dark Side when it first came out. I feel like people are sleeping on the Force is with me and how good it is. Because like people like point out like two experience tokens. Like what's the value of that? Like Academy, training is 2 for 2. That's 2 resources for 2 experience. And then they're like a shield token. Well, Moment of Peace costs 1 and it gives a shield token. And then I get to attack. Like, is that worth the resource? Like, but the big thing that they miss with this comparison is that I get to do all that in one card with no interactions by my opponent,
I
and
mean,
that
that can be very good.
makes it so much better than all those other things. Like
I
there's
don't think this is good without a force unit still, but like the force, I don't know. I feel like I wish this one had gotten more out of the force. Like there's obviously shields are really good, but like
I mean, shield that you can use proactively can just straight up be removal, right? Like,
yeah,
and that
well, yeah.
feels really good. Like if I'm paying 4, make my guy bigger, kill one of your units with him, all in the same action.
I mean, the
Uh,
only thing I don't like about this card is its cost. If it costs 3, I'd be like, wow, this is like great. Like
if it costs
I've
3,
been
it
pretty
would
high.
be even more busted than it already is.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty high on force throw, and it's like just because that one's super cheap, very versatile. Um, I don't know. I mean, obviously, like the extra math, like it's like a fleet lieutenant, but you guys doesn't take damage if you have to force them,
I think you can
but you
literally
don't get the body. Like I don't know. I feel like fleet lieutenant's better.
I don't know if Fleet Lieutenant's better because I think you can literally win games off the sequence of round 2 I play Yoda, round 3 I play this,
I mean,
kill
that's
your
true.
dude,
It
kill
is
your
a
dude
very
with my
good
Yoda
full
out
up.
there. My Yoda is now a 4/6. I healed 2 off
Yeah,
my base, and Yoda is sitting out there full health, and like you have no board.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I mean, he has a good as a follow up on Yoda. It is pretty good. Like that seems like one of the best cases for it.
yeah, I mean you do the
I don't
same
know
follow
like
up on
late game if
Kanan.
it's
You can do the
yeah
same
similar.
on Chirrut the round he flips. We have options. You can follow it up. Ezra can do it. Like I'm fine Ezra into this because Ezra's
I
force.
don't anyone's running blue yellow with force things right now though. Like I
I
mean,
mean, the
just from what I've
negative
seen,
is
I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but like it used to be, there were a lot of people were into Luke yellow when that's kind of when there wasn't really green wasn't a good option, but now it's like blue and or red and green also have a lot more cards for Luke. So I don't really know who you're playing
I don't know. Yeah, I was
with
gonna say
yellow.
it's not as great with Ezra because you can't like probably play a card if you do that sequence, but he's still a force unit.
Yeah,
It's still a pretty strong play. Um, that leaves you with a big unit on the board, not damaged, and your opponent not having a unit.
I'm
Um,
not sold on it yet, but I haven't. I mean, I have not gotten to play any games with it. I'm
yeah,
just worried it's a little too expensive. I just the villain ones are so cheap. I like Force Choke. I guess that's the only villain one right now. I think Force Throws. So for some reason, I was thinking Force Throws a villain, but it's not. But
no, it's neutral.
Force Force
I can
Choke being
force throw
one with your
and the forces with me in the same deck.
yeah. I mean, and that's a pretty good. I think like turn when Chirrut comes out if you have this paired with Force Throw. Otherwise, it's like Jedi Saber and Force
Yeah,
Throw or Binds or Carabast. We can talk about Carabast. Carabast is
sure.
interesting.
Go for it. Your turn. Pick a card. Talk about Carabast.
It's another Spectre card. It's got Zeb on it because he says Carabast. And it does the damage equal to damage on one of your dudes plus 1. I like the card. I don't know how easy it is going to be actually to use.
Yeah.
I've I feel like I like it in Cheer It because he can just take damage with less consequence. But outside of that, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people not. I don't
It
think
is
people
removal though.
are on this card. It is removal. I think there's
It's
some decks
cheaper than Open Fire.
like Cheer It. Cheer. I guess we can talk about Cheer It while this too, because that was a spoiler there. But like Cheer It was weird when he came out last Friday, because I think like the initial reaction is a lot of people are like, "What the crap?" And then like people played him over the weekend, they're like, "Oh, he's not that bad," because when you get stuff like Carabast and It Binds with him, like you start comboing some stuff with the fact that he can't die,
Yeah,
and then he gets damage
Chirrut's
on him.
leader side feels really good. Like even the fact that he's just a 5/3, it's still I think he feels pretty good on the leader side.
Unit
His unit side, his leader thing, his leader action of giving a dude +2 health feels
hard to use.
largely irrelevant most of the time because I like the you can use it as a free pass. That's
Yeah, I think
that's
like
one.
their idea is to try to use it with heal effects. Like that's where you could potentially use it. Like give your guy +2 health so he doesn't die. Run him into something that kills him, and then you can play like repair or it binds on that guy after the fact to get him
Yeah,
dead
I just
range.
don't think we have enough heals in the game yet for that. It would be nice if like we saw like more unit healing too at like a cheaper cost because it's not as crucial as base healing.
Yeah,
Like the what's it called, the surgical droid that isn't, if it just was something that was a little more substantial than the surgical droid. Like if I had a 3 cost version of the surgical droid that actually had some stats, maybe.
yeah. And then the big problem with that sequence is that it just takes too many actions.
Right. Yeah,
Like
and
I'm gonna give him
it's
plus
that
two.
is the
Okay,
problem.
if I could
It
like
just like
+2 an attack at the same time, maybe it would be
that
probably a
would
lot
be
more
a lot.
playable.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then I'm 2 actions away from the heal instead of three. But like a lot of times, like versus aggro, like you can't wait to give them +2 health. You're like, I need to attack like first action to stop me from taking more damage on my
I
base.
mean, the only time you're doing that is if you're trying to pump like a sentinel health. I feel
Probably.
like as your first action is like, well, I can't kill anything in space, so I might as well make my ground sentinel probably like Obi-Wan or something a little bit more powerful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's a card that has like I think will be interesting even going forward in the game. Like it'll probably show up in
I
surprising
mean,
ways.
the,
Carabas.
the best thing about Sheerit is that he has the force tag and he comes out at 5.
Yes.
Like that's the main part. Like, and he doesn't die super easy. So you're going to be able to use your force stuff the turn he comes out, assuming they don't take him down. But that's only in blue decks, so
And you don't have to flip them out into takedown. So like if
nope,
they have the
you don't.
resources up,
So
just don't flip them. Like do other things. Stall. Um Other stuff to talk about.
you got Bendu.
Oh yeah, Bendu. I'll talk about Bendu. I love Bendu a lot. So this was the last double blue, double vigilance card. So this goes
He's
with
bad Obi-Wan.
he's good Obi-Wan.
He's
That's my
Obi-Wan with one more health and an ability that you're never going to get to use.
I think you
I
can
don't
use
think
that
he's
ability.
actually worse than Obi-Wan, other than the fact that, from what I'm seeing, there is no hero mono blue deck that's going to exist. I just
Yeah, I mean
in
Bendu's
this set, I just don't see it. I I don't think what we have there, like there's no early drops in blue, is one of the problems too. So like I don't dislike Bendu, but I think he'll be pretty good in a villain one. But at the same time, in a villain one, you're also probably not using the force trait because the force powers are more in red for villain there.
yeah, I think I don't know. I like Bendu as he is. I think I still like him as like a slightly better Obi-Wan, but obviously you're in villain, you don't even have that. Like it's between him and Academy Defense Walker, and I
And
think
I do like him better than Academy Defense. If I'm
yeah.
playing double blue, I'm going to play Bendu.
But like I think you're happy to have the big Sentinel, and I think there's a lot of stuff you can actually hit with him that you're fine with, like takedowns, vanquishes, vigilances,
Yeah.
entrenched is a you could just play out for free. the cargo juggernauts, which I think if you're in double blue, you're probably main decking those, and you're happy to play it for 4. So
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like his ability has quite a few targets. He's big enough that your opponent's not going to probably kill him before you can potentially get one use out of his ability the following round. Um, the downside is you might die like by to an aggro deck, but maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, vigilance is pretty good in aggro, like the card vigilance. So
Yeah, and the other thing with Bendu is I think like with more sets, and I'm assuming we're going to get more double vigilance cards, and it's like he's always going to work with all the double vigilance cards. So
yeah,
like if they're all powerful, like he just gets better and better by being able to discount like these powerful cards. Like you don't care about discounting protector; it's 1 cost anyway. But like discounting vigilance to 2 is like amazing. And if like we
yeah,
get more like really good, double blue units or events or even upgrades, like he just gets better with a bigger card pool.
yeah.
Um,
I'm mostly just sad that like I just don't know. I just don't know how you're running. I want to run him in hero. I just don't know that that deck's going to be competitive at all because it's missing some stuff. I think in what we have so far in the set.
yep. All right, your turn. Pick a card. I'll have you pick one more card. I'll pick one more card, and then we'll call it a podcast.
We'll probably our new boy Rook.
Rook. What do you like about Rook? People have been going crazy about
Um,
this guy today.
he's cool. Oh man, I like him a lot. I mean, the fact that he just like deletes a dude on 5. I mean, he's like another primo energy conversion lab dude.
For sure.
Send him in, kill whatever's out there.
Yeah, people have been really excited. I'm not I don't hate him. I'm not excited as some people. I think like there's this problem with like units like him and Zeb where I feel like they have to be stapled to energy conversion lab or they feel not great in the meta or like not great versus a lot of decks.
Yeah, I know you feel. I definitely feel that with Zeb. I think he feels better than Zeb, and that's kind of mostly like my point.
No,
It's like yes, they are that same kind of space, but like Zeb's a 5/5 without a shield. Zeb likely isn't going to be able to live to do his attack, and he requires you to actually have 2 ground units. That one that you like. There's way more caveats into actually making Zeb work comparatively. Whereas this guy just like he's just to be out there and have a dude to hit, and is dead.
yeah, I do
He's
think
not
he is
getting he's not
better.
as high of an upside, but he's going to be way more consistent and way harder to deal with. And you can't
Yeah,
even take him down either with takedown right away. So
yeah, he is a good vanquish target or a waylay target, but you can't take him down. But no, yeah, I do like him better than Zeb. I just feel like if you start earmarking your energy conversion lab for like certain units, like it makes you play weird, and I think that's a
mm-hmm.
problem because like if I'm going against like the aggro deck, like I probably want a energy conversion lab like well before round 4, most likely. I'm
I
probably
mean,
going
I
to
don't
a crap kicked in.
see how you feel bad playing this guy on the turn that you play Boba because you already have Boba as your big dude for the turn, and like, I mean, yeah, he's not Callus or Boss that's going to ambush and kill somebody,
Right.
but
It's just a matter of like, am I already dying and like losing this race? And if I play a guy that just does nothing to the board state this round, am I
and
just going to lose?
if you're green Boba and you've already ramped, then you're probably not losing and are probably in fact going to be winning.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. Like, I look at stuff that I'm running in Green Boba, like Callus or Traitorous or Bosk, like all very proactive things. And I don't know. Like,
I struggle with Bosk lately, like mostly because it's just like he never actually gets to do his thing.
mhm.
Like, I
It
mean,
always
I
hits
guess
something.
maybe you're just playing him for the 4/5, but
I
like the
do like
4/5 with
Syndicate
ambush.
lackeys
But
too. People are sleeping on Syndicate
yeah,
lackeys.
okay. So I saw some chatter about that. I've not seen anyone play that. I thought that was basically a draft card. I can kind of see it, but I also don't want to play that card.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
the five attack
I want
is
something that
good.
kills and then doesn't die. That's the big thing. And yeah, it's got 5 attack, so it can kill, it can punch up a little bit, but it's probably going to die. the same process. Like I want to, I'm going for the 2-for-1. I guess that is to say.
Sure. I don't know. Like I think like Syndicate Lackeys answers a lot more things that you want it to answer, and it's still 2-for-1s versus like the aggro decks
That's
that
true.
you'd
Yeah,
get
versus aggro, it's
out
still
of
good.
like Bosk or Callus anyway. But like when you need a 5, and then also you have this thing like I think people are starting to like come around to like this mid range damage race thing where like if you're playing stuff like Rook and you have 3 attack, and I have Syndicate Lackeys with 5, and then I'm able to go into base for 5, and you're only able to go into my base for 3, or you have to like end up playing defense, like all of a sudden you're on the back foot with just like less damage on the board. Like it's like a sneaky thing that you got to think about with some of these, especially if you're in a mid range deck where you're like, I need to be thinking about ending the game. Like Rook's maybe more of a control card. I don't know.
I mean, that's why I like him, right?
Yeah, probably. He does have like some rulings came up with him today. He doesn't work with shoot first, which we've talked about. It's a non-bow because Rook's the triggered ability. So like its ability triggers on combat damage, but like combat damage triggered abilities don't resolve until after all combat damage is dealt. So like he doesn't really work with shoot first. And also like the way shields work, he doesn't work against shields because shields prevent the damage and basically
Right.
treat it
Then
like
that
it
makes
never got
sense.
dealt. So like that was my other thing too. Is like Rook sounds like it would be really good against Luke. Like that might be a deck you'd want it in, but like Luke's
Except for the
shields kind
shields.
of muck it up. So like he's really good against Krennic, I guess. Like Krennic Green, he'll probably kill a lot of guys there.
I mean, I probably put him in my Krennic Green.
Probably
Yeah.
put him in my Krennic Green for other Krennic Green matchups. Um, yeah, I don't know. He's good. We'll see. We'll see where he lands. I feel like he might end up being like a sideboard card. Like if the meta is mostly aggro-y, maybe you don't play him main deck, and then you only bring him in like versus slower decks where he can maybe get some value. I don't know. Last card. What would be a good one that we haven't talked about? I want to talk about Dispatcher. A lot of people we
Oh,
had a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of comments on it. I don't I like it in Green Luke, and I think it's terrible in most anything else. Like
I think
that's
that's the main like takeaway I've heard from most people is that in Green
good.
Luke,
Good when you can
auto
shield them
include.
right
Outside of
out of
Green
the
Luke,
gate. Everybody else, if your opponent's smart, they'll just kill him, and you'll
I don't know.
feel
I'm
sad.
trying to think like I haven't played with it yet. I haven't played Green Luke. I haven't tried to play it outside of Green Luke. I'm just like, are you okay with it being like a 1-2 taunt because they or sentinel because they essentially have to kill it? But at
I
the
don't think
same
you
time,
are.
like
Like the card
I
would
don't know
ban.
if you are. I don't think you're really want to give away your whole like especially if it's your first round and that's like all you do is just throw this guy down. It's like you're not really getting much for that.
Yeah, no.
Like they're gonna just kill it. I mean, if you I mean if you have initiative, it's a different story. But that like the whole thing is just like it's a lot of caveats. Do I have
So
initiative? Do I have?
that's yeah, I know what the last two cards I'll talk about that we haven't talked about that have come out. It's a combo. One is K2SO. We hadn't talked about that
Oh
since.
yeah, yeah, with the
So
heroic
yeah,
sacrifice.
4 cost 4/4 overwhelm dude. When defeated, you can deal damage to a player's space, the opponent's base. And then we have heroic sacrifice, which was spoiled like I don't know a week after, 2 weeks after we got K2SO. But that's
Yeah,
basically a staple card. It's the hero event where you pay 1, you can draw a card, then attack with a unit. It gets +2 for the attack, and when it deals combat damage, defeat it. So you
yeah.
combine
That
that
card
with your.
does a lot for one.
I know
Like
it does a
that's what
lot
I
for
mean.
one.
Like, and considering with K2SO, that's pretty much exactly what you want him to be doing. Like slamming the base for 9 is nuts.
Yeah, it's just a
Like
straight
that's like a
slam.
third of your health at best.
And you get to draw the card to replace the heroic
Yeah,
sacrifice.
no,
So you're
it's
only really
just
losing
great with
down
him.
one card from killing the K2SO. But yeah, it's a staple in all red hero aggros. I think if you're seeing red hero, they're gonna have 3 K2SOs, three
Yeah,
friggin'
he's
heroic
in everything.
sacrifices. Heroic sacrifice is often fine with a bunch of other things too. Is just like a cheap damage pump. Like reach to get
Well,
across.
in like Leia, a lot of people have been playing Leia with green red Leia for as a
Yep,
counterpoint to Sabine, and you don't have surprise strike. So like this is
that'll do.
this is another reach that you have that you wouldn't have otherwise had in Sabine.
Yeah, so like yeah, in the past month, like we really have seen like hero aggro, red red hero aggro take shape with K2SO for Cause I Believe in and Heroic Sacrifice. Like I feel it like really just solidified the archetype as a whole. Like way better than it was.
Yeah, K2SO feels really good. Just it's just like what do? You kill him, and you're still taking 3/4 of the damage he was going to do. So it feels like bad killing him. But then like what else are you going to do? Like
Not
exhaust him every
kill him.
turn? like
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's just like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't with K2SO. He's just going to do his thing.
And he has
But
overwhelm too, like
he's overwhelmed, which is insanely good for like yeah.
for the heroic
And then
sacrifice player. I got a chump block.
like
They're like,
also
I'm
yeah.
just gonna go through it. I don't care. Overwhelm will hit you for
and,
3 and they'll die and still deal 3. That's fine.
and then like I mean his other ability of just if you're not going full aggro but you're still playing something more mid-rangey with the red and hero, which is still doable, I think. Being able to discard an extra card is just that's
Yeah, I think that's
not bad.
a mode that's still good that people haven't explored with them.
I mean, I
But
don't think you do it every time. It's definitely like a. I mean, I don't in Sabine. I think you're probably going base every time with K2. But if you're playing them in like a Chirrut, I don't think you are necessarily. If you're playing them in blue Luke or red blue Luke, I don't think you are. So,
yeah, it's
but I
like
think you probably play him in any red hero deck just because he is good.
yeah, I'm trying to think like if we for hand hate we have him. You have Spirit of Rebellion,
Force throw.
Force Throw. Like there's almost kind of like the start of like a hand hate deck.
But then like Bodhi, but you can't really want to. You're not playing Bodhi outside of double
Double
yellow, and
yellow.
then
Yeah, it's probably not as good as like Bodhi Cunning, Spark of Rebellion, which
yeah.
can already be in the same deck, but oh, maybe it'll get more stuff.
I mean, there's yeah. Once we get more sets too, there'll be a lot of more possibilities. Set one metas are going to be different.
All right. Last plugs on Saturday in 2 days. Well, this will probably not get posted tomorrow. So like on Saturday the 27th is the finally doing the top cut for the league for
Oh
December.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I should be streaming games and doing commentary most of that day. I'm supposed to be on the list. They're gonna try to have like someone streaming and commentating all of the games. They're just gonna do the whole top cut in one day, and people are playing with like up to date decks. Like they're submitting
They were
their
locking in tonight by
yeah
midnight, so
yeah. So that should be really cool just to see a top 8 with new cards, and I'm excited to actually get to commentate it on all day.
commentary.
Do commentary on it all day. Should be a good time. Yeah, and apart from that, hopefully we'll stream some next week, and we'll see the FFG stream next week. Did you have anything? Am I forgetting anything? No.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, we're right over an hour. So thanks for tuning in. Glad to be back, and we'll see you next time.